ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवम्। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So let me start sharing Brahma Samhita. Okay. So last time when we met, we studied the previous verse where after hearing Brahmaji's prayers, where Brahmaji offers very beautiful prayers and glorifies Krishna and his qualities and his abode's qualities. He glorifies Lord Krishna, his energies, his associates, and different, how he is the supreme Lord who has so many abodes and energies, and all the abodes are controlled by his uh, energies. Again, Lord Shiva, Durga Devi, and others. And then Lord Krishna says that after hearing him, that he says that I'm going to give you an instruction where even though you are doing this material duty of Brahma, of this creation, uh, you should engage, or everybody should engage in bhakti simultaneously. And I'm going to give you this instruction in the following 5 shlokas. And those 5 are the last shlokas of the Brahma Samhita. And in today's verse, then, we are going to read the first of those 5, where Lord Krishna is saying, prabuddhe jñāna-bhaktibhyām ātmany-ānanda-cin-mayī udety anuttamā bhaktir bhagavat-prema-lakṣaṇā. So here, Lord Krishna is saying that bhakti is the process by which one is serving the Lord, and that is the prime duty of every living entity. And when one is on the path of bhakti, one is on the path of self-realization or spiritual progress, and when one is excited on that path by jnana and bhakti. So jnana is also important, that is mentioned here, by cognition or knowledge, jnana, and bhaktibhyām, by process of jnana and bhakti, which is performed with jnana. So that is important. Then ātmany ānanda-cin-mayī, by the pure spirit soul, which in its original pure state is always ānanda-cin-mayī, which is full of knowledge and blissful, which is in its pure state. What happens to that soul then? Udety anuttamā bhaktir, that arouses or awakens uttama bhakti, the best, super excellent devotional service for, and what is that called? Bhagavat-prema-lakṣaṇā. So that bhakti, the highest form of bhakti, or the ultimate uttama bhakti, is characterized by bhagavat prema, or its lakshan is bhagavat prema, or love for Supreme Lord Krishna. And that's what Krishna is instructing in the very first verse in instruction to Brahmaji, that when one is excited or on the path of, with determination on the path of bhakti, sadhana bhakti, the pure soul, which is performed with knowledge, then he arouses the uttama bhakti, which is characterized by love for Krishna, bhagavat-prema. So when the pure spiritual experience is excited by means of cognition or knowledge and service or bhakti, super excellent unalloyed devotion characterized by love for Godhead is awakened towards Krishna, the beloved of all the souls. And that is the ultimate goal of perfection of a living entity. And particularly for one who is engaged in devotional service. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes very beautiful purport here. First of all, he mentions that the real knowledge is nothing but knowledge of one's relationship to the Absolute. So which is kind of repetition what we read from a couple of previous verses. What is knowledge? Because sometimes when we are in this material knowledge, material world, we think of gaining some material knowledge or acquiring some material positions or the knowledge required for some material gain in this material world, for some comfort or for some excellence or developing material qualities is knowledge. But that is denied here, which is said that the real knowledge is by knowing one's relationship with the Absolute, one's relationship with Krishna. And it goes actually beyond by knowing first our identity, then who is God, who am I, who is God, and what is my relationship with Him. That is Sambandha Jnana. So real knowledge is identical with the knowledge of subjective nature of the Chit or animate and Achit or inanimate and Krishna and of their mutual relationship. So as Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate, or Krishna is the source of everything that is animate, inanimate, spiritual and material. Aham sarvasya prabho, everything emanates from me. I am the source of everything. So the real knowledge is that it is the knowledge of all these, everything that exists, be it material or spiritual, animate or inanimate. So the relation between everything, all the energies and Krishna. So the knowledge, so this first part is considered as broadly classified as Sankhya Yoga, which is described in very brief in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, and in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Dev describes it little bit elaborately. So that is the knowledge of all spirit, soul, and the material energy, and also about Krishna. So the second knowledge is about Lord Sri Krishna himself and of the relationship between Krishna and his energies. So that is real knowledge. Here, mental speculation is not alluded to, since it is antagonistic to service or bhakti. So material knowledge is not referred here because even though somebody may be materially very opulent, but he may not, or he rather will not develop love for Krishna or bhakti. Because material knowledge here, it is said that it is antagonistic or it is opposed to spiritual realization. It is opposed to bhakti. Rather, in Kunti Devi's prayers, she says that Aishwarya, that anybody who has all these opulences of beauty, knowledge, material knowledge, or wealth, or janma, then they probably will not engage in your devotional service. But other than that, one who does not have these material opulence, they rather would engage in devotional service. The knowledge that embraces only first 7 of the 10 basic principles or Dashamula Tattva. So we'll look at these Dashamula Tattva. These are given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then I think they were not promoted a lot. They were not available in general, but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati eventually they described these, and then in Gaudiya Vaishnava they are followed mainly. So these are the 10 basic principles of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So The first 7 of the 10 basic principles, or the Dashamula Tattva, is the knowledge of relationships, Sambandha. And the substantive nature of the spiritual function, or Abhideya, the process, is inculcated by the science of devotion of Navavidha Bhakti, that is given by Prahlad Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is that? Hearing, chanting, meditation, tending his holy feet, worshipping by rituals, making prostrations, doing menial service, practicing friendship, and surrendering oneself are identical with practicing the search for Krishna. So this Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, and so on, and ultimately ātmany Vedanam. So that is the Abhideya or process, and it is specifically described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or Nectar of Devotion. So devotion or bhakti, characterized by love for Godhead, makes her appearance by being awakened by such knowledge and practice. So love for Godhead. So love for Krishna, Haribol. So love for Krishna, or the devotion, which is bhagavat-prema, which is aroused in the heart of devotee, one who is performing this sadhana bhakti strictly. Then it appears, or is awakened in such knowledge and practice. So both jnana and abhyasa is required in the beginning. And eventually, even though we see that all the Vrindavan friends, the Gopas and Gopis in Vrindavan, they seem to not have any Vedic knowledge, or they seem to not practicing any bhakti, but they already have surpassed that in their previous lives. As in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami says that Itham Sata Brahma Sukhanubhutya Dasyam Gatanam Paradaivatena Maya Shritanam Naradarkena Shakan Vrijashpur Kritapunya Punja. That all these friends, the Gopa friends of Krishna, when they are playing with, then the question may come that how can they achieve such a close association of Krishna, that they are simply playing with him, treating him equal to him, and they are literally not knowing that he is God, and they have the highest love for him. How is it possible? Because they already have the Kritapunya Punja. They have done so much pious activities in their previous life, with knowledge, with understanding, that they have achieved the status what they have currently today. And that's why they, in Krishna's personal abode in Golok or Vrindavan, they can take part in his very confidential pastimes and associate with him personally, play with him, just like he's among one of them. So that knowledge and practice is important for attaining prema bhakti also. Eventually, it may seem that the person who has love for Godhead, he does not have knowledge. And one of the examples I can think of is in Ramayana, we know Shabri. She had so much love for Krishna, but she is from materially very low class family. And she doesn't have any knowledge or any understanding of Vedic literature. But still, she had so much love and affection for Lord Sri Ramchandra. So how can this be developed? So that is Krita Punya Punja. That is from their previous pious activities. Because if one is not elevated to that level, and one is just trying to develop bhakti, then that faith, that devotion may become fanaticism. And we see that in today's world, without having that appropriate knowledge of God and our relationship with Him, if somebody is just uh, asked to do certain things and he has a blind faith, that's what the blind faith word comes, ānanda-bhakti. The blind faith word comes, and then it leads to fanaticism. And then not knowing what is really good for them or good for them, and not knowing who really God is and what is our relationship, then such type of people may sometimes engage in very abominable act, just because they are guided by so-called some spiritual leaders. And that's why this knowledge, jnana and abhyasa, is also important. So sadhana, after perfection in sadhana, only one can achieve love for Krishna. And that's why in Nectar of Devotion or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami also gives the different stages, which starts with Shraddha, Ado Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and then Anartha Nivrutti, Nishtha Ruchi, Bhava, and Anasakti actually. Asakti for Krishna, Bhava and Prema. So these stages are anukrame, they come in the order. One cannot jump over the other. And that's why it is important to get that knowledge also. And that's what Krishna is also referring here, that one, this is aroused or excited by jnana and bhakti. Then the prema bhakti is aroused in the heart of a pure devotee or pure soul. Such devotion is super excellent bhakti and is no other than the final object of attainment of all spiritual endeavor of the individual soul, jiva. So that is the perfection of life for any living entity. So first to engage in service of Krishna, first to identify our relationship, then in that relation, what is my duty in that relationship? To serve Krishna. And then in that service, the ultimate goal is to attain Krishna Prema. And that is the perfection of a living entity, even in the spiritual life or on the process, on the path of bhakti. So we'll take a look at the Dashamula Tattva, which is referred here. So let me share the document. You all see the Word document I'm sharing? I'll take that, yes. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given this 10 basic principles, or Dasha, 10, Mula or root or basic, Tattva are the principles or the sutras for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And then these 10 are considered are the roots of the tree which flourished as a Vaishnava culture, Gaudiya Vaishnava culture. So, and those are as below. The very first one is that we accept Vedas as the evidence for everything, and the remaining 9 principles are based on the authority of Vedas. So first one is pramana or evidence. So Vedas constitute the principles scriptural evidence for ascertaining the truth, and in their essence, they expound the following, the remaining 9 principles. So the very first principle, we accept the authority of the Vedas in Vaishnava culture, in Gaudiya Vaishnava particularly. And then the second one is, per Vedic literature, we accept Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, Parama Tattva, or the supreme truth. That is the principle. Vedaisha sarvair ahameva vedya, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. That is the second sutra or the root principle. And then the third one is, he is Sarva Shaktiman. He is the source of all the Shaktis. He is source of all the energies or anything that we can see, perceive, hear, experience in this world, or something that is beyond our experience. He is the source of everything. So he is Sarva Shaktiman, or possessor of all the energies. He possesses all energies, material as well as spiritual. And specifically, he is the source of both Srimati Radhā-Rañjana, which is the source of all the spiritual energy, and Maya Devi or Durga, which is representation of the material energy. So Krishna is the source of all energy, and he is Sarva Shaktiman. The fourth sutra he writes is, he is the ocean of all the rasas. So, Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. So, all rasas, different rasas we experience in our life, different, what we may call is emotions or the taste what we have for different things, not necessarily only the taste that we experience by our tongue, but with our experience, with our emotion, with our mind, we have different rasas that we experience. And then in the bhakti, there are different 5 primary rasas. We know Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. And then there are 7 secondary, that Virya, Bibhatsa, and so on. So all those rasa, Krishna is the source, and he is also the ocean of all those rasas. So he's the ocean of rasas, or the flavors of transcendental relationship with which one can associate with Krishna. So Krishna is the ocean or Sindhu of all Akhila, nectarian rasa, Amrita, or the relationship, and sacred rapture or rasa. So he is the source of all the rasas, and he is full of all the rasas. When we associate with him, in material life, we may experience some rasa to some degree, but when we apply or use that same emotion, same rasa to Krishna, we can experience it to the fullest. So that's why he is Akhilar Samrita Sindhu. Then the next one is Vibhinnamsha Tattva. So the principles of separated parts or jivas. So there are all the living entities are nothing but his separated energies. They are part and parcel of Krishna. So the living entities, jivas, are his separated parts, and it doesn't matter they are liberated or not liberated. Both liberated and conditioned souls are his eternally separated and essential parts. That's the 5th sutra that Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us in this. And then he divides those 2 jivas in the next 2 sutras. One is Baddha Jiva, or the bound living entities, or the conditioned souls. The living entities, due to being minute, because of their misuse of that minute independence, can become conditioned by material energy. And conditioned souls are subject to the effects of Maya or illusion. So they can be overcome because of their minute nature. They can come under control of Maya, and they can forget their relationship with Krishna and their own identity, their real identity. And those are called Baddha Jiva, or the conditioned souls. And then the second one type are Mukta Jivas. That's the 7th tattva, or the liberated living entities. In their liberated state, when the jiva comes out of control of material energy and knows his real identity and his relationship with Krishna, then he is considered Jivan Mukta, or liberated. The living entities are free from the influence of material nature, and these liberated souls are free from Maya. It doesn't say that he lives in a spiritual world or material world. It can be liberated while living anywhere. It doesn't matter where he is situated. As long as he is continuously associating with Krishna and he knows fully that his relationship with Krishna is to serve him, and he is engaged in that relationship in the service of Krishna, he is mukta. And then so these first 3 are Sambandha, and then Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva, that the quality of living entities or quality of all the energies are same as Krishna. So we are all qualitatively same as Krishna, but quantitatively we are minute, or we are Anu, and Krishna is Vibhu, or he is infinite. So everything is inconceivably Achintya, one with Abheda. Bheda means difference, and Abheda means non-different or one. One with or Abheda, and different from or Bheda, the Supreme Lord Hari or Krishna. All of existence is inconceivably one with and different from the Supreme Lord at the same time, and partaking of his nature in quality but not in quantity. And the example is given is just like sun rays have the quality same as sun. They are shining as long as they are in connection with, they are in contact with sun, but they are not the sun. So sun rays and sun are qualitatively same, but quantitatively sun is much larger and sun ray is just a small particle, and which gets energy or its shining ability from sun itself. And then the bhava or shuddha bhakti. So pure devotional service is the highest duty. Now here one may say that, okay, why is not this highest? Because it is still at the level of duty, kartavya. So pure devotional service is the highest duty or dharma of all living entities, and pure or shuddha devotional service or bhakti is only practice by which a living entity can attain the ultimate goal of life, which can be attained only by pure devotional service or shuddha bhakti. And what is that ultimate goal of life? That is the last or final 10th principle that he gives. That is Kṛṣṇa Priti or love of Godhead. And that is the ultimate goal of the living entity. That is the prayojan. So pure love for Kṛṣṇa or prema for Kṛṣṇa is the ultimate goal of life for a living entity, for a jiva. And transcendental love or prema and affection, priti for Kṛṣṇa, is the final object of attainment. So these are the dasha mula tattva that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us, and on which this whole Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is, the tree of this Sampradaya is standing. So these are the roots of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So these 10 truths are the core of reality and constitute the sum and substance of the Vedic knowledge, and that's why they are called the Dashamula Tattva. So it's already 9:31, but I also wanted to refer to the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. So the quality of pure love is given in many places, but in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Kapila, when he is describing, giving instructions to Lord Devahuti, his mother Devahuti. So after describing whole Sankhya Yoga, Mother Devahuti asks him, now you have very scientifically described me the symptoms of material nature and the spirit soul, but now can you please explain me the path of devotional service? In which then Kapila Dev describes the path of devotional service, and then eventually in the 11th and 13th, the 12th and 13th verse, actually, he gives the qualities of devotional service and the characteristics or the symptoms of devotional service. So he says here that the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one is attracted, always hearing Krishna's glories, then that unadulterated love or devotion for Krishna is developed, and who is residing in everyone's heart. And he gives an analogy here, just as the water of the river Ganga flows naturally down toward the ocean, such devotional ecstasy is uninterrupted by material condition and flows continuously towards to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And further, he says that in that state, a devotee does not want even any type of liberation. And he gives the 5 types of liberation here: Salokya, Sashti, Samitya, Sarupya, Aikatmam, Apyuta, Diyamanan na grihnati vinamat sevanam jana. So he says that pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, which is Salokya or living in the abode of Krishna or Vaikuntha. Sashti, getting same opulence as Krishna. Samipya, living close to Krishna or Vishnu Tattva. Sarupya, getting the same form, four-handed form as Narayan, or Ekatva, or also called as Sayujya, merging into Krishna. Even though they are offered by the Supreme Lord, they do not accept this. Actually, there is one part I saw, maybe missed in the purport, Vinamat Sevanam. They do not accept this if there is no service for Krishna. if they are not able to serve me, they don't want any liberation, because their ultimate goal is to offer loving devotional service to Krishna. So that characteristics that Kṛṣṇa explains even here, that bhagavat-prema-lakṣaṇā. What is the lakṣaṇā? The characteristics of bhagavat-prema. So that is what it is. So a devotee doesn't want any liberation. He doesn't aspire anything for himself. Everything he does, every activity he performs is for satisfaction of Krishna. And that's the pure love or loving prema bhakti or bhagavat prema. I'll stop here and take some reflections. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Radhā-Rañjana Prabhu.
Hare Hare Bol Prabhuji. Lord Pranam.
We are almost toward the end of Samhita.
Yes, Prabhu. I think 4 more verses.
Thank you, Radhā-Rañjana Prabhu. It was very nice, especially you're going through the Dashamula Tattva. By Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a separate book on that, and it was a very nice explanation through the Dashamula Tattva.
So, Prabhu, what was the connection? How we brought Dashamula from that verse?
In the purport, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that how it is referred by Dashamula Tattva. How so the knowledge that embraces the first 7 of the 10 basic principles is the Sambandha Jnana. So first 7 he says out of the 10 is Sambandha Jnana, and then the next 2 is kind of Abhideya, and then the last one is the ultimate goal, Krishna Priti. So that's how I just wanted to mention about the Dashamula Tattva.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Matajis and Prabhujis. Then we'll stop here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, nice class Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Yeah. मैंने तो श्रवण किया, but it was good.
Thank you, Mataji. I think I wish I had consistency and dedication like you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll stop here then.
पावनी वैष्णव नमो नमः आनंद कोटि वैष्णवंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna.